because I'm trying to sneak up and catch the baby ostriches while they sleep. Quiet, Cornholio. Hi, babies. Hello, babies. Don't go over there. Stay with me. Oh, no. Oh, no. That one there went and told on me, the tattletale. I'm going to go put some food out and feed Carl. Maybe I can come back and love on these two while Carl's eating. Y'all give me a couple of minutes. There's a little tattletale right there. Look at him. That little tattletale right there is telling Daddy that I was over there messing with him. Carl's not happy. Boy, you are a tattletale. You are a little tattletale, what you are. I'm just loving you. There's that little tattletale right there. Little tattletale. Babies or not? Look, that little tattletale's back. Oh, look, he's pointing at me. He's pointing at me. He's pointing at me. He's pointing at me. We're standing here at our pig wallow, and I'm spraying down Annie. You guys may not know this, but alpacas have a place around their knees. A little bald spot. You can't see it with them very easily because they're so furry. But they have a little spot around their knees that is the location of their body that helps regulate their body temperature. And all alpacas, just like pigs, just like other animals, can regulate their body temp if they can cool off that one particular area. Now, of course, pigs can't sweat. They need the water to help them cool off, but alpaca can sweat. But they can also control their body temp by soaking or putting that little spot of their body into the water, which is why they've been known to come by and stand in our water trough. It's not easy on us because it makes our water get dirty. When they walk by, they track in all kinds of mud. Sometimes that one right there will even poop in the water. Hey, sweetie. So watering these babies down every day is essential, especially when it's 100 plus degrees outside and they have a full winter coat on. Makes it really hard. The hardest part for us is having to change the water out several times a day, because the same water they stand in is also where our other babies drink from. And that makes it real difficult. I got you, sweetie. Baby, I got to share. We have to share. Sweetie, you're going to make Daddy get really nasty by standing right there. I'm downhill from her. Now, the birds are going to come over also. They also enjoy a water. Oh, Trudy, you just yanked the hose right out of my hand. Trudy, this is a little bit ridiculous. You're not that hot. And plus, they have a wallow. This is their area here. Annie, can I pour that water out and refill it, please? This is so disgustingly nasty. She's like, no, I'm just cooling off right now. The water's fine. Carl's going to walk over, and we're going to talk a little bit about the big birds. Indy, you're not getting much loving at all over there, sweetie, are you? There you go. Here comes Carl. He's going to walk over with his sweet girl, Debbie. Oh, boy. We got Tiny Tim needs some loving, too. Everyone needs some loving right now. Y'all give me a second or so. I'm going to pour out this water Annie's in, and then I will get right back with you. And we're going to talk about what happened yesterday with Tat. And I'm going to share some information with you that you don't know yet, but I've struggled trying to find a way to talk about it. Y'all give me a couple of seconds, please. Friends, yesterday we had to make a decision to move Tat along. That decision had been made several days earlier. We were just trying to find a way to present it to you all. And the morning that I walked out to make the video to talk about us moving Tat along is the same morning that Tat kind of turned his hormonal aggressions towards me. Now we know that these big birds, especially the males, are capable of doing that. We've seen it before with this one right over here a number of times. But what we've not seen is Tat being mean to the babies as well. Not just being mean to Lester, because I in fact do have testosterone running through my body that makes Tat a little bit uncomfortable during the breeding season. But it's the fact that he turned his attention towards me on top of already running Annie and Indy and even some of our goats and pigs around the pasture. Mostly during feed time, but we've discovered he was doing that at different times of the day as well. So to make a long story short, and to make a difficult story a little bit easier to talk about, I'm just going to tell you that Tat, yesterday afternoon around 4:30 or so, the sweet people from the bird sanctuary showed up to get Tat. And we were sitting there talking for a minute. And when they backed their trailer up to grab Tat, not grab, but they backed their trailer up right over here, we set up a couple of the panels we use for Jamie's round pen. And we actually got Tat loaded fairly easily. We opened up this gate here. We opened it inwards towards us. And we set our round pens walking out. That led up into the trailer. We used our tractor to back the trailer and raise it high enough in the front where the bottom was almost on the ground. And believe it or not, Tat walked right up to the trailer, and then I come around behind this gate and begin to push the gate closed, and by pushing the gate closed, it pushed him into the trailer where no one had to ever get close to him as far as in his space. Tat was loaded and Tat was ready to go. At that point, we were about to send Tat off, but our sweet Wanda was over here in the pasture with Tat. She walked up to the trailer as well. I think that you all know where I'm going with this, friends. And I begin to have these images and flashbacks of the first time that I went to pick up Carl. The farm where I got him from had 2 males and 1 female. And because there's only 1 female with 2 males, the males were constantly fighting. And if you remember, it was Carl who was the smaller of the birds, and Carl was the one getting beat up. I was concerned about that. And I kind of asked about their arrangement. And they did at that point only have 1 large pasture for the birds to go into. And so, I'm going to turn this water off. I think everyone's been watered down enough. Y'all give me a second here, please. I'm just going to turn this off right quick. I'll be right back to continue talking with you all. Is it delicious, Peggy Pig? So this is our pig wallow. And this is a great spot for the pig wallow because as we empty the water daily from where the alpacas stand, and even sometimes will poop, all of that flows right into our pig wallow where the pigs have no problems whatsoever. My question to Jamie is, would this make a good place for a compost? Could we use this muddy, poopy water, mud, gunk as compost for her garden? Anyway, I know I'm off on a different story. I'm going to fill this up right quick, then I'll stop it, and I'll get right back to you on our Tat and Wanda story. Oh, is it too cold, sweetie? Is it too cold? You're like, I like it cold, but not like that. That's freezing. Sheesh. I like the warm waters from my wallow. Hey, they're pigs, y'all. They're pigs. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and get on with it. But guys, it's harder to think about than it was to actually do, if that makes any sense to you. But at the moment, when we had Tat loaded and he looked very confused, he wasn't sure what was going on. He, in fact, didn't. You know, he's a bird. He doesn't know what he was doing. He was acting upon instincts when the things that he's been doing, the naughty behavior that he was doing, is not because he's a bad guy, a bad bird. There's nothing wrong with Tat. He's just a teenage kid, and the same way that we all see our teenage children do things that we may not be proud of, but we just kind of know it's an age-related situation, and it's just kind of something that kids are going to do. You know, boys will be boys. Tat was just being a boy, a 2-year-old ostrich male. And I hated to see him suffer and go off somewhere, even though he was going to a wonderful home, a place that Jamie and I believe in and that we are very proud of when we see the pictures and we see how beautiful everything is. We know that he's going off to a wonderful home. But we did have a sudden flashback to when I got Carl and the horrible situation that Carl was in because there was 2 males trying to court the same female. And so I asked them, they didn't ask me, but I asked them, could they take one more, a female, Tat's partner? They were more than happy, just so more than happy to do so. And so I don't know the best word to put it, but I would just say very heartbreakingly, I only had a moment to say my goodbyes to Wanda. And I went ahead and closed off Tat into the front of that trailer and opened it back up, the back section. And it didn't take much of anything to stand behind Wanda, and I walked her, my little clodhopper. I just walked my little clodhopper right up into that trailer with him. Her mouth was opened. You know how she looks really goofy? She walks around with that little goofy look on her face. She wasn't a very pretty bird, y'all. Wanda was never a pretty bird, but she was so special to me. Probably our most gentle female. Wanda is the one that had the blue band on her leg, the one that had the rescue, because she had been, her foot was the one that had got stuck in the frozen ice in the pond several years earlier. And I sent Wanda with Tat. On one hand, I wanted them to be able to have a place they could put Tat with Wanda where they would be able to be partners together, where Tat wouldn't be near as scared. He would have a female. He wouldn't have to compete with any other birds. That would be his partner. And then I also sent Wanda because she's the only one that really spent time with Tat. She enjoyed spending time with Tat. They were sort of they've had their own little friendship and thing going. Whereas Debbie is always around with Carl. You don't hardly see these two ever off by themselves or apart from each other. Wanda was always with Tat. And so it was a decision that was made on the fly. And one that, as hard as it was to say goodbye to Wanda, knowing that we had to say goodbye to Tat, it made what was going to be difficult just that much more. And so the beauty of everything is that now you have all 3 of the babies who no one thought could ever happen. The eggs that our sweet Debbie here laid out in the pasture back at the sanctuary in Plum Grove. Then you had Carl take those eggs and push them all into a nest that he built. And then you remember how long he sat there on top of those eggs, and people kept telling us that Carl's going to die. We're going to kill Carl. He's going to try to hatch them eggs. He's not going to leave those eggs until they hatch. Yet everyone kept saying those eggs would never hatch. It's Texas humidity will not allow for those eggs to ever hatch. And yet we saw Carl's desire. We kept continually trying to feed him and water him on top of his nest. And how crazy was it that one morning on Mother's Day, we walked outside to discover that there were babies. Baby ostriches had hatched. Tat being the firstborn, soon to be followed by Charlie and Susan. And out of those 7 eggs, 3 eggs did in fact hatch. Completely shocked everybody in the ostrich community, and those who, well, all of those in the Google community who also told us it was never going to happen. For all those haters who said that we're going to kill Carl, it was a beautiful moment for us as those who follow the channel, for those who love the power of life, for those who saw Carl being a daddy and Debbie being a mama. But now we find ourselves kind of not back to square one. We find ourselves back to a Carl and Debbie. And of course we do have Tina still. Tina kind of does her own thing. You guys know that Tina doesn't really spend much time with the other birds. She's lame. And Tina can't get around as much, so we don't allow Tina to be escorted and dated by anybody. But Wanda is no longer with us, friends. I can report that Jamie has spoken to the sweet lady who came and got the birds. You all met her before. She's the same one that was here. We took off with Charlie and Susan. But she said the trip went fine. The birds are out and in the pasture. They're happy. She did put all 4 birds together. There was no showboating. There was no one trying to act dominant. And they say they're going to divide their pasture in half, which is still a very large pasture, and it will still give Tat and Wanda their space, and Charlie and Susan will have theirs. But we're going to miss them. The miracle babies.